Welcome to last week's news today and another week of Ashes of Creation development. A lot of info this week, so we're going to dive right into it. Please remember that this is not a game and it is a full-on alpha test, so many things are unfinished. The roadmap and Ask Me Anything with Stephen Sharif was held on the 16th and it revealed the Alpha 2 schedule. The Alpha 2 testing period will be divided into 3 phases. Phase 1 starts on October 25th, marking the beginning of Alpha 2. Tests will be Friday through Sunday, and their goals will be to test scalability, stability, performance, and progression. Further down the line, Phase 2, starting December 20th, they will begin having 5 or more day-long tests to help them nail down node advancement, economy, and vassling. Finally, on May 1st, the servers will be up every day barring issues to test the expanded content and features that are planned to be introduced. Also, Alpha key sales were reintroduced, and Steven popped by on Reddit to clarify Alpha 2 key sales, and it pretty much covers everything, so here we go. If you own an Alpha 2 key from previous pre-order packages or Kickstarter, you have access to all phases of Alpha 2. Alpha 2 begins for you on the weekend of October 25th. New Phase 1 keys will consist of weekend testing, starting with weekend testing beginning November 8th. New Phase 2 keys will consist of week-long testing, 5 days at a time, beginning December 20th. New Phase 3 keys will consist of 24/7 testing and is intended to run until the game launches. Purchasing into a phase grants access to subsequent phases. When beta starts, the Alpha 2 servers will live concurrently alongside the beta servers. Players who won Alpha 2 keys, including the new phase keys, will also have access to the beta servers. Alpha 2 Phase 3 is expected to last at least 1 year, and this is subject to change due to active development. Alpha 2 does not have a subscription cost. When the game launches, Ashes will not have a box price. The cost behind Alpha Access accounts for server and CDN costs associated with a live service product, and while this is not a finished game, it will be a live service alpha that will be updated on a 6-week basis as we build out the rest of the game's content and features. You should not consider purchasing, testing, access to Ashes if your intent is to play a completed game. This is not a typical approach of development and marketing. It will be rough, buggy, and require dedicated players who are willing to be testers. We have our internal QA teams along with externally contracted QA testers that are testing Ashes every day. I hope that clears up a lot of things for everyone. We've also got some more information from Intrepid on Discord. The Phase 1 test weekends are scheduled to occur every weekend until Phase 2. The days of the week on which Phase 2 will be held will be revealed closer to the start date, and for those that were wondering what will happen with the holidays, Steven dropped by and said, "We will be offsetting some teams to work during the holidays if necessary, but we will hopefully address big issues prior to the December testing with our October and November weekends." When beta begins, the Alpha 2 server will morph into a PTR server, which will run alongside the beta. Your Alpha key will give you access to the PTR. If you want an Alpha key through a contest or giveaway, it only gives you Alpha access. Only purchased keys from Kickstarter, summer backers, pre-order, and phase keys provide beta access. Someone did ask Steven why they started sales prior to October, and he said, "It is helpful for us from a DevOps perspective to prepare and provision contracts/servers for anticipated population sizes." Next, we got some slides from Intrepid. They discussed Alpha 2 testing, focusing on scalability, stability, fun, and community engagement. They are taking their time to get things right, using their own dynamic gridding, server meshing, Intrepid Net technology, and actively listening to and engaging with their community to help develop AOC into a next-generation MMORPG. Throughout the stream, Steven emphasized that players won't be playing Alpha 2 in the traditional sense. It is a true test. There will be bugs and problems, and hopefully Intrepid will be able to use all the data they receive to help create an amazing game. There were some comments about why there were only 3,000 concurrent users despite at least 100,000 keys being sold, and Steven stopped by to clarify that total accounts and CCU doesn't always match. Usually CCU is a fraction of the total accounts. We plan around our expectations for CCU, and this leads nicely into their slide about what to expect and what they need. We are in a testing phase. Ashes is not done. It's not meant to be viewed as done. It is meant to be tested and have critical feedback delivered. The community will be able to engage by providing feedback and voting on features and content. We expect our database schema to change for performance and balance, which means we will require persistence wipes as necessary. You will be testing core gameplay loops, and Intrepid Studios will be reacting to make fixes and updates. Intrepid Studios will support Western Europe and North America with 3 realms each to start. They need testing across all archetypes, node progression and systems, all crafting systems, and testing against implemented PvE and PvP content. Some noted they're surprised that only 3 3 realms, but Steven did clarify that we are able to deploy multiple realms as necessary at this stage. They then went on to explain what their cadence of content updates would look like. As necessary, there will be hotfixes deployed for critical issues. Every 3 weeks, there will be a minor version release, balance changes, and major bug fixes. And finally, every 6 weeks, there will be a new major version deploy, including new features and content. Intrepid then went into detail about what we can expect in each phase. It's quite substantial and a lot to remember, but Maggie did mention that we will have an article next week about the first, second, and third wave along with the FAQ. We'll let you know when it's out so that you can check out the phases in detail. They made it clear that not all of this content will be available at the start of each phase, but we can expect it to be added gradually according to their content cadences. They also emphasized repeatedly that everything is subject to change, and we should view the phase plan as a goal rather than a set expectation. Now on to what is possibly in phase 1, the world. Over 55 square kilometers of western and eastern Aelan Riverlands, Sandsquall Desert, and Vandegar Tropics. 36 POIs, day and night cycle, 4 seasons, dynamic world populations and reward tables, 1 grand dungeon, 4 pocket dungeons. The nodes, there's 5 node locations to level 3 with some level 4 systems in them, dynamic road leveling, 4 service building slots, 5 default buildings, 8 active constructed buildings, 5 passive constructed buildings, node currency / citizenship, 56 tax categories, mayorship, buy orders, 25 plus player commodities, 24 plus mayoral commission types, 36 node resources with tier 1 to tier 3 recipes, service building expansion voting, 3 races, Vec, Kalar, and Empyrean, 6 archetypes, tank, fighter, mage, cleric, ranger, and bard, 10 weapon and offhand weapon types, greatsword, one-handed mace, one-handed sword, scepter, maybe, wand, longbow, shortbow, spellbook, shield, and focuses. In PvP, there's flagging, lawless zones, corruption system, guild wars, node wars, caravan events, and in systems and economy, flying, ground, and water mounts, caravans, the management, cargo, and events, rafts, mail, player trading, level 25 for artisan professions, novice, apprentice, and journeyman, 15 gathering tools, 33 plus unique gatherables, surveying, fishing, and hunting, 38 unique animals, processing with 400 recipes, crafting with 600 plus recipes, gear enchantments, party and raid markers, chat, item deconstruction and repair, 45 caravan components, and content, 460 plus unique pieces of gear, Node War Godspike event, 16 public events, 149 story-driven quests / commissions, 111 treasure maps, 3 world bosses, and 75 unique enemy creatures. It's already more than New World. And Steven also dropped by on Discord to add a little more depth to some features. Lawless zones will most likely be an alpha thing only, to help simulate what eventually will become broader open seas content. Treasure maps require tools and yield unique rewards throughout the world. Phase 1 will only have nodes in the western and eastern Aelan Riverlands. Phase 1 guild size is currently set to 50 and may expand to 100. Since Phase 2 is further down the line, we'll just throw this up on the screen and say that both the desert and tropics will be expanded upon. Nodes will be expanded upon, including 2 unique node layouts alongside level 4 and a few additional services and buildings. They'll be adding the Veilun and the Dunir races. Also, it looks like Rogue will finally be added to the game alongside dual wield daggers, scepters again, 2-handed maces, and 2-handed axes. Many new systems will be added throughout the phase, including siege vehicles, animal husbandry breeding, instance housing, player shops, and more. We'll also be getting story arcs for the Riverlands and the Sandsquall Desert, dynamic world dungeons, and NPC ambient behavior. And for those wondering about the state of artisanship in Phase 2, Steven said, many of the artisanship professions in Phase 1 and 2 will be in a very functional state, meaning they will still require polish around FX and animation and need detailed skill trees filled out. The distant Phase 3 is now on screen, which will have 2 new zones, the Turquoise Sea and the Anvils, alongside a greatly expanded node system with 5 levels, military and divine election types, atrophy, policies, node happiness, etc. Finally, we'll get the 4 races of Pyre, Rinkai, Nikua, and Tolnar. Also, the final archetype will appear, the Summoner, thank goodness, alongside with secondary archetype specialization for Cleric and Tank. 3 new weapons, Orb, one-handed axe, and one-handed sword piercing. I assume Rapier? A whole lot of systems will come into place. Fully functioning guilds and guild freeholds, castle sieges, naval combat, aquatic mounts, underwater combat, instanced content, transmog and dying, pets, aerial combat, titles, religion, and auction house. Also, we'll get castles. The Turquoise Sea will get treasure maps, dynamic events, and story arcs. There will be more dynamic world dungeons. And Steven comes in yet again with constellations being available in Phase 3 alongside Kickstarter cosmetics at some point too. Spear will also still be part of the game. Some other key points that came up in the stream from the Ask Me Anything was that Ashes of Creation is expected to be mature rated. The character creator will be available as part of the client once Alpha 2 launches. It won't be a standalone system for now. Name reservation may be available during Phase 3, but it depends on data wipes. Some were asking about archetype balance, and Maggie said, "We will continually be making archetype balance changes, but you'll see a lot more of that in the beta phases as the secondary archetypes are fleshed out more in game." Another pleasant surprise from Steven came when someone asked about the music for AOC. He said, "Not yet for Bear, still a work in progress. The music in game currently is from another one of their composers for the game, Einon Zur. And in case you missed it, office hours will be held on Tuesday, 20th of August at 4 p.m. Pacific time. The discussion will be on the Bard." And that's it. See y'all next time.